Are you ready to break through the mental barriers holding you back? Welcome to the Mind Mastered Secrets of Excellence with Dawn Grant. Since 2001, Dawn has been guiding elite athletes like PGA Tour champions, Olympians, and world champions, and everyday individuals toward peak performance. With a proven track record, including helping Vijay Singh win the 2008 FedEx Cup, and her PGA Tour clients averaging a 219% increase in earnings. Dawn knows what it takes to succeed. She's the inventor of the Mind Mastered app, author of 7 Strokes in 7 Days, a sought-after speaker worldwide, and the proud owner of Amelia Shotgun Sports in Northeast Florida. Join us as we dive into powerful strategies, inspiring interviews, and Dawn's unique insights to help you excel in every area of your life, sports, career, relationships, and beyond. And now, here's your host, Dawn Grant.
All right, folks, welcome to Mind Mastered Secrets of Excellence. You've got Dawn here, and I am excited to chat with Deleah Pickler of Ponte Vedra Plastic Surgery. It's surgeons.
Yep. Surgery.
Great place. I have to admit, I've been there in the past, maybe 20 years ago, but I did go there, and they were a great place. And I can't wait to learn about you and your life and what brought you to this point that you're at now and what you can share with us, especially as an esthetician and skincare. I bet you got a lot of little secrets in there.
Well, technically an aesthetic nurse practitioner, to be exact.
Even better. All right. Say it again.
An aesthetic nurse practitioner. So I'm a nurse practitioner with specializing in aesthetic services.
I can't wait to hear all about it. So you specialized in that. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit more. Just a highlight. What are the highlights?
Highlights of me, a Florida native, Fernandina Beach resident, I'm a wife to a very handsome husband, retired Coast Guard. I'm a mom, very outgoing, social, enjoy my friends and family, community, physical fitness, beauty, happiness, sunlight, and joy.
Wow, that's a good list.
Yeah.
And you just joined Joy to the Children as a board member, and you've been a volunteer for that for years, which is awesome.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's about finding connection and commitment to things that I feel fill my cup that I'm giving back to others too, is honestly what drives a lot of what I do. I don't think it's so much about what I set out my goals to be. It's more or less the path that I've placed myself on and the opportunities that have unfolded that kind of just opened a door to the next thing. And now it's like the list is so long of the things that I enjoy because I chronically say yes to experience. And then I love everything I do.
How great are you? I can't wait to learn how you got to this mindset. You know, being a mental trainer, I'm fascinated with understanding people's minds. And most people would either need years of therapy or mental training or something to get to the point where they can experience like genuine joy, I wouldn't say it's very common for me to come across someone who is authentically and genuinely happy and joyful as part of their typical day-to-day life, which so far, that's what I'm hearing, which is cool.
It is, honestly. And it feels almost innate, like I've always kind of been this way. So it's not something that I like stumbled into or just one day. You know, I told my husband one time when we were early on dating, like I was adamant about like this one thing's going to go my way. And he's like, you're not always going to get your way. Yeah. And I'm like, but yes, I am. And he's like, but why? And I was like, because I decided. Nice. One day I decided, and I think I must have been around 21 years old. And I said, you know what? I'm done not getting what I want. Moving forward, I'm just going to get it. And it's been that way ever since. And I think that it might be a willingness to accept what's presented to me and then find pleasure and joy in that. But also at the same time, like I'm immensely enriched by the things that I've encountered and continuously grow from the experience. So it's like, I'm not sure if I'm choosing or I'm accepting, but either way, it's working out in my favor when you set that mindset.
I'm going to say both.
Okay.
Now, did you come across something at the age of 21 that made you even believe it was possible to have whatever you wanted?
Dawn, I think that I started in my profession as a 21-year-old girl, as a nurse. I graduated nursing school when I was 21 years old. I was working in a level 1 emergency room downtown Jacksonville, dealing with real crises. And that really amped me up for, my mom was a nurse. My mom is a retired nurse. And from a very early age, probably 12, I knew what field of medicine and, adult practice I wanted to do, to be involved in, and what I wanted to be when I grow up. Like, I knew this so long. So when it was like, when I'm 21 and I've achieved that, it's like, I can do anything.
Nice.
It gave me that confidence to say, I'm in here like saving lives or, comforting those grieving as a woman child.
Yeah.
And it was empowering. And then it was, from that moment on, it was like, the sky's the limit. I'm just going to continue saying yes to opportunities. And it's kind of how I ended up here.
I love it. That, even for me, is something I continually work on and study and look to understand. They call it law of attraction and manifesting what you desire. So that's what I was curious if you had studied anything like that. It sounds like you just figured it out naturally. But the concept is you can have, be, do, think whatever you want in this experience of being on this planet. And we are our own worst enemy in potentially blocking those things. So you can, a human can desire something, but if it doesn't come as fast as they'd like, or they have insecurities or a history in their brain of not getting it or whatever, like there's all these kind of roadblocks that can occur that can cause someone to not get what they want. And then what happens is they don't believe in the power of their mind, or they don't believe in law of attraction or manifestation or the power of positive thinking. They end up not believing in these things because they haven't had the experience of it always coming to them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty profound you bring it to light that way, because I honestly challenge daily still. I mean, this year I'm coming into my 20th year in nursing practice, now as an advanced practitioner. And I am finding myself literally daily in professional situations where I'm challenged. I'm reaching out to colleagues. I'm seeking guidance and support and comfort and love from those that are very close to me, because I cannot do this alone. There's no way. It's not even humanly possible. And I think so much of the support system and the network I have around me is that we're all in this together and locked arms, like we're building each other up and we're taking each other along for the ride. I'm not doing this alone. I couldn't do it alone. And it's the confidence that others have instilled in me that have, make me think I can keep doing this stuff. Like, it's crazy. And then they're like, you need to do this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. And then here I am on a podcast with my president of the board.
That's right, girl.
But I love it. And I keep, it's comical. I laugh at myself. I'm like, I my sister, she'll always say this to me. I'll say, I'm doing this thing. And she'll say, of course you are. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
All right.
It's fun.
Yeah. I want to rewind and then, bring us up to the timeline of where you are now. So you said you grew up in the area. You're Floridian.
Yes.
Where were you born?
Clearwater, Florida.
Okay.
Home of the whitest sands and the best sunsets.
That's so true. I've been out to the Destin area.
Yeah.
And
nothing compares.
I was amazed, having lived on the east side of Florida for so long. I was like, wait a minute, we have white sandy beaches that it crunches under your feet.
Yeah.
And, so you missed that area?
No, I mean, we left so early. I was 7 when we moved, and we've been up in Northeast Florida ever since. Okay. My mom and I made the shift and came up, and we had the support of my grandparents, and it was just literally the wealthiest nest of nurturing and growth and development and love and support that, kind of blossomed me to just keep checking,
how
checking
great
boxes.
Is that so? It was your mother and grandmother?
No, my mom and I came up, and then we were really close with my grandparents, and then my mom got remarried, and then it was our family nucleus just exploded, And,
Yeah.
we just kept rocking on as a family, blowing through this universe together.
So are you saying that you're one of the fortunate ones with a happy little childhood?
No, that doesn't exist, silly. Of course
I don't
not.
know. I thought you said like a basket of love. I was like, wow, this
Well,
could
I
be
mean,
the rare
but
one.
it was tumultuous. I don't think, I think that's what makes you tough, diamonds in the rough. Like, you got to get tumbled. Theo Vaughn said, somebody asked him if he liked raisins. And you know what his response was? Yeah, man, I love it. I love a grape that's really been through something.
What? Okay.
It makes you rich.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm following you. We don't want that on our face, though.
No.
So, so you said your mom was a nurse, and so you kind of had it in your mind then for a while that you were going to be a nurse too, or when did that start for you?
Probably 12, I would say, maybe 10. I kind of came into the awareness. I would read her EMT and paramedic manuals, her nursing school textbooks for leisure.
Oh, wow.
And she would go to nursing school and drop me off at the nursing home right there. And this sounds like I'm making it up because it's so ridiculous to think that like a preteen would be like finding joy in this.
Yeah.
But at like 12 to 14 years old, while she was in nursing school, I was getting dropped off at the nursing home outside of the nursing, the college.
Okay.
And running their volunteer activities director, like, little program. So I'm like running nail salon and movie and popcorn night, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing with my summertime.
My gosh, at such a young age. I did that at one point, and I forgot all about it until you just said it. Yeah, and I used to help them do their little stretches and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was formative years, And then, through high school, I just kind of knew it was what was on my radar because she was actively practicing at that time. And then coming out of high school, I went straight into it, got right into the nursing program, finished at 21 boards on the first go round, and then was working, in a 47-bed emergency room as a nurse, registered nurse.
Right.
Got handpicked to be in the critical care rotation. So I got specialized training to gear me up for that critical clientele in emergent settings. And I did that for about a year, met my husband and followed him around doing some travel nursing and rural emergency rooms, which was a very eye-opening experience because I'm used to being in the comfort of this small town. And then all of a sudden I'm, at that point, 22, 23 years old, working in emergency rooms in rural cities where like the nurses have been nurses and they graduated together for like 30 years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm coming there bebopping in and they're like, who's this chick?
Yeah.
And then, I quickly nearly got burned out of nursing because I wasn't like feeling like that network of connection and camaraderie. And the patient population kind of honestly wore me down a little. It was rough just dealing with everyone's worst day ever.
Oh,
every
yeah.
day. No one's in the ER having a good time. You're catching them on their the worst day of their life.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. So it takes a very strong-willed, I don't know, a certain kind of fortitude that I just personally didn't feel like was healthy for me to sustain for a long time.
Yeah.
So I got out of that and then got into, working in the operating room where my patients were under general anesthesia and everyone's nice then.
That was quite the shift.
Quite the shift.
When I think of ER, I think of someone who works in an ER, I'm always thinking of the ability to handle quick things, crisis type situations, quick thinking. I hadn't thought about the aspect of the sadness of it or the difficulty in dealing with people who are in bad shape and the mood of that, the energy of that, right?
Yeah. And it was the energy. I mean, I took home more times than not, the trauma, the life and death you kind of just take with a grain of salt because that's part of the human experience. But the emotional toll that it takes on those left behind or those that are struggling, that's what I came home with. And I'd walk in the door and just like fall into my husband's arms and just cry. And it's like, how long do I do this?
Yeah.
Because I know I can make an impact and I know I'm making a difference, but like, how long does that feel safe for me? I was like, I'm going to just try to give back in another arena for a while and see how that goes. And then the OR gave me that sterile, order, perfectionism, cleanliness, and like, this is how we do it every time until we don't, because sometimes things get tricky. I really loved that structure.
Yeah.
And, I did that for a very, very long time. I went into the ER. So graduated nursing school in 2005, went into the emergency setting. 2008, went into the OR setting. And I just got out of the operating room setting in last year.
Okay.
So I spent a very long time there and kind of just, continued to climb the rungs. I started circulating in the operating room, and then I started scrubbing into surgeries. And then I got advanced training as a first assistant, where I was actually helping the surgeon perform the procedure at the bedside, and then went to, nurse practitioner school, and then continued assisting. And that was probably the most pivotal turn in like, I'm actually doing something different now.
Yeah.
Because it was like the second I finished and got my nurse practitioner degree, I had a surgeon I worked with every single day, Dr. Webb, who's phenomenal, bariatric surgeon, Jacksonville, Florida. Seek him out, guys. Great guy. He said, I got this opportunity for us. It's super cool. You and I are going to fly out to California. We're going to serve as clinical subject matter experts on a new minimally invasive robotic platform that's coming to market that's under design. Won't speak to the name or the company, but amazing opportunity. And I'm, out there with him, and we're just, laying it down. This is what we do. This is every single day. And, to be on the research and design and clinical development aspect of a platform that's going to come out anytime now and change lives is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And that was for me like, aha, wow, I have come full circle.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh gosh, I'm excited.
Yeah. So then I, part of my nurse practitioner degree was to fill out a LinkedIn account, which I'm not huge on social media. I really never have been. More or less just catalog my own personal experience for myself. Go back and look at my memories, that kind of thing. But I got a call one day from a recruiter that found my name on LinkedIn and then wanted to bring me in as a subject matter expert for a medical malpractice case review.
Okay.
So then I, was brought in on a number of cases to evaluate, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of case log and clinical reports and lab values and surgical op notes and, determine the fate of somebody else based on my expertise.
Yeah.
And that all happened in 1 year. Finished nurse practitioner school, went out to California as a, clinical expert, and then the medical malpractice case review. And then I went back to doing my day-to-day job. And I was happy. I was very, very happy. And I was like, here's my path. This is where I'm at. And then I got the call. Hey, you want to come work at Ponte Vedra Plastic Surgery? No call, no holidays, no weekends, not driving an hour and a half to Jacksonville, not waking up in the middle of the night for emergencies. And I was like, yes. So here I am, 20 years in and a novice.
Yeah.
Learning from scratch again.
So
that.
Well, so to clarify though, I didn't realize till talking to you right now. So I thought you were like an esthetician at Ponte Vedra Plastic Surgery. You are. So that word's in there though.
So, all right. The umbrella of, so we're under the biggest umbrella of plastic surgery.
Okay.
So we have a ton of top-notch surgeons at the, housing us. Then below that, we have advanced practitioners. So those are nurse practitioners or PAs. So advanced practice providers that offer services to our patient population, where it could be, it's all cosmetic based. Cosmetic and aesthetic are similar terms.
Okay.
So we provide a specific subset of aesthetic services to our patient population. And then we have next to us our estheticians, who are skin health specialists that provide the skin care, all the wonderful hydrofacials, dermaplaning, all the more superficial skin treatments. Honestly, the skin is the cake. We're just the icing. You got to have a great cake.
Yeah.
So those girls go in there and really do the Lord's work. We just come in there and just sprinkle a little glitter on it.
I gotcha. I got you. Okay. All right. So what you said you've been there since last year.
May. Yeah. May I joined.
So what do you do? Give me an example of a typical day.
A typical day. So I look at my day ahead of the time. Like today, I'll look at tomorrow, see what my game plan is, see what patients I have coming in. A typical day could be new patient consultation for Botox so aesthetics are basically beautification. The services that we offer, Botox, I say Botox as a blanket term, but it's basically neurotoxin to relax smooth muscle and smooth out fine lines and wrinkles. Then we'll do filler to replace that volume that's lost with aging. I generally don't like to go into anything that I do with a heavy hand, very conservative, and I just want to have a graceful approach to things. I don't want to create a new image for someone. I just kind of want to enhance or restore what they've lost with age, as we are all going to it's all going to catch up with us sooner than later. But to recap on the day, generally speaking, I'll look at my case for the day, might have some Botox consultations and treatments, some filler treatment, talk skincare, talk lasers, and basically just hang out with my patients. I have a real fun time. You know, it's like, it's not a therapist role, but or a friend role, but it is. I find that more times than not, it's 90% connection and 10% treatment. It's more about just having a relationship with that person, hearing and listening to what they're going through, what they're feeling, what they're desiring, and then doing my darndest to give it to them,
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is tough because it's hard to, sometimes we have realistic and unrealistic expectations. So I have to kind of manage that with myself. And sometimes I'll have to help my patients say, hey, let's find the happy medium here. And that's probably one of the most challenging things is trying to deliver a service when patients have really high expectations. And because I want to do a perfect job every time. And sometimes that's just not an option.
Right.
So that's my current struggle if you want to hit hard on what is challenging.
Yeah. So you're facing challenges now of not only a new field in somewhat respects. I mean, obviously you have a ton of experience and a ton of education and knowledge related to being a nurse practitioner and a nurse over the years, but now you're in a different field and then also just some challenges within that field, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
So what's it like starting out in a whole new field?
It is humbling. It is so humbling, but I keep coming back to this mindset that comfort is a byproduct of complacency. And I just can't get down with not growing.
Yeah.
So as a result, I'm going to make myself real uncomfortable. And then, what'll happen in no time, I'll be like, yeah, that one time when I just began. And now look what I'm doing. I'm going to be steps and steps and steps up, higher up that ladder.
Yeah.
Just because I don't settle. I should settle. My husband tells me, sit down, break, put your feet up, rest. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well,
I can't.
And that is an important thing to look at. It's something that I work on myself. It's just, self-care and downtime. I've shared in other podcasts that, so Amelia Shotgun Sports, I own that, and it's closed on Tuesday, Wednesdays. And I don't have to be there. I have great staff, but, I do all the admin and higher level things related to the club and obviously decision-making and anything related to money. But my mental training business is, Monday through Friday, other than a bunch of the stuff's online. So I really haven't had an official weekend in a while. And so I work at having a Tuesday, Wednesday weekend just because it's more likely that I'll get a phone call from the Shotgun Club. And I'm still working on it. First of all, because I do work a lot from home for the mental training and the admin for the Shotgun Club. My computer's right there. I can get on my computer anytime. Sometimes it just feels more productive in my day to tackle some things on my to-do list than to read or go for a nice little walk. Or I've been wanting to paint for a long time. I have everything to paint, but I haven't broken it open. And I just keep finding other things. Now, I'm doing a lot better because I'm working on it, and I've blocked off my calendar on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I force my calendar to not schedule things, but it's actually weird. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself. I have lists, but it still feels weird. I have lists of ideas of what to do on my days off.
Yeah, it's hard. You end up, honestly, for me, I'll end up just pacing around. I have I don't know, because I'll work so, I'll be feverish to check off. And now the list is done. And now I'm looking around now what? Now what? And he's like, now you sit. And I'm like, but I don't really love TV.
Yeah. I don't want to just sit here. There's got to be something I could be doing.
Yeah. So then I'm I'll go grab something to make or create then I'm staring at the French doors in my 1938 home. And I'm like, that hardware would look better stripped.
Oh,
and
boy.
You know what? All that paint on those doors, all 17 layers, I'm also going to strip that off. And guess what? I'm actively doing it.
You get to it.
So I'm a handyman also.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. And I think, honestly, my favorite job is handyman.
Really?
Yes.
Of all of them?
Yeah.
Well, it's a new career path for you.
I know. I got my first pair of overalls in a long time, a couple weeks ago, and I'm super excited about them.
I love it.
You drive down Atlantic, you'll see me out front scraping paint off doors.
I love that. But, in a lot of respects, that's downtime, although it is a different form of work, but it's something
it makes
enjoy.
my mind shut. My mind shuts down. It really does. Other than that, I'm constantly thinking, what's next? What am I going to do? What's this plan? The order of operations of things. And it's exhausting.
Well, I'm curious, so we're going to rewind a little bit. So you're operating room nurse. What made you decide to go back to school at that point to be a nurse practitioner?
Well, the first question was from my leadership team. Hey, we think you'd be great scrubbing into surgery. You want to scrub in? And I was like, yes. So I did. And they're like, hey, you're doing really good over on that side of the table. You want us to send you to school? Yes. And then with my husband's, wonderful retirement program and military benefits, I actually got to go to school for free. So who can say no to that?
I know, right?
So the government treated us, my family, to my formal education. So I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm saying no to that.
Yeah,
I love to learn. Perpetual student. So
yeah.
I mean, you pretty much put any opportunity in front of me, I'm gonna take it for growth. My husband jokes one day you're gonna be a doctor. And I'm like, I'm not going back to school. And he's like, you say that every time. So
I see where he's coming from.
There's plenty of time.
Yeah. So what would you say is the type of mind that you have and how that benefits you and the work that you're doing?
Type of mind.
Yeah, well, you talked a bit earlier, or might have been before I started recording, on being really detail oriented and organized, and
definitely those.
Yeah,
I don't have any formal diagnoses, but I'm probably a perfectionist. I'm probably hyperfixated to a fault. If there's something to be done, I need to do it now, and I need to do it efficiently, and I need to do it right.
Yeah.
And I just really am fueled by checking a box. That's my greatest high. It makes me feel real good to do a thing.
Yeah.
And I really like doing for others also. So it's acts of service are very cup filling for me, giving back. Cause it's it just feels good. I like to complete a task. But it on the flip side of that, it's are you staying up too late to do these things? Yes. Like, are you not allowing rest? Yes. So, but at the same time, like, it's all for the good. So I'm okay just like wearing myself down because it doesn't feel exhausting because it rewards.
Right. It's lifting you up and
Yeah.
filling your energy. And like you
And
said, your cup.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also to the mindset, like task driven,
Uh-huh.
give back, work hard. And I just like things to be nice and tidy. So, and that takes work,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
hard
And
work, hard work, commitment, set goals and achieve. I don't like failure. Failure doesn't feel good to me. Failure feels like it's a tummy ache, butterflies in a bad way. So I have to like work harder to fix it. I
yeah.
don't run into that a whole lot, but when
I
I
was going to
do it,
say,
the
what would
most
you,
mundane.
what would you consider a failure?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. I don't want to waste time thinking about it. I
Well,
don't think
yeah.
I have one
Well,
right
yeah,
off the bat.
that's kind of that was a little bit of my point, especially with someone with such a positive mindset. It's like it's kind of a negative way of looking at life as far
Yeah,
as like experiences, and like that didn't go right and that was
right.
wrong. And for someone who has a more positive outlook on things, they probably wouldn't see it that way because there's learning from everything and there's growth from everything. And again, another aspect of what I've learned about you already is you want to learn, you want to grow. So in every, like, let's just say a boo-boo, there's an
Yeah,
opportunity to learn something. So even with the athletes that I work with, I don't care to use the word failure because it doesn't have to be a failure ever. Even
right.
not winning doesn't have to be a failure. It's an opportunity to learn something about yourself, especially if you're striving to improve, then everything you want is in the miss. Like
Yes,
everything that you're looking to achieve, like all the goals, everything that you're striving for, it's easier to get there if you stop and take a look at what was in the miss. And
absolutely.
most people just want to be pissed off about the miss.
Yeah. We use a little term in this household. Do you know what FAIL stands for?
What?
First attempt in learning.
Oh, nice. I have
Yeah.
not heard that.
Yeah.
I like
It
that.
helps. It
Yeah,
helps because it sets the stage for where we're headed, not sticking in the past.
absolutely. I cannot
Yeah.
believe I've never heard that before. But it's true. I mean, I think of the invention of the light bulb, and it's not a failure every time it didn't work. It was an experience to learn from, to then
Absolutely.
improve and keep improving until you get the end result that you're looking for or take another path.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you see some of those aspects of your mind that you described, you see those carrying over into your work now and how that helps you to be good at what you're doing.
It does. And I think, again, that right now I feel like because I'm hypercritical of anything and I'm over analytical, I'll think, oh, that one thing, oh, I could have done it right 100 ways better than the way I did it good.
Yeah.
And my husband, my husband and my girlfriends, they're like, the patient's real happy. That's the goal. Like if you're a millimeter off, no
Yeah.
one cares, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm battling myself right now. That's the strain.
And there's a light side and a shadow to every quality. Actually, every single thing in life, there's contrast to every single thing. So I like to think of like a penny, it's like the sunny side up or the shadow side down, and one of the great things that any human can do is to look at their strengths, but also know that there's a dark side to every single strength, right? So that task-oriented perfectionism, analyzing, detail-oriented, I have all of those. You and I could be like besties. I could see it. There's a shadow side to all of those. Perfectionism can actually cause you to put the brakes on because you don't want to do it until it's going to be perfect, or just taking longer to do something, or question yourself as you're doing. And that, when I wrote my first book, that was one of the challenges. And from what I understand, a big challenge for any writer, because they're going to put themselves out there, an artist also. And I could see what you're doing as artistic as well. You're doing this thing and you're putting it out there and you want it to look beautiful and you want it to be perfect, and you're critiquing it yourself, and then this person's going to critique it. And yeah, That would be tricky for a perfectionist. But at the
It
same
is.
time, great qualities for what you're doing, right?
It is. But like you said, there's a darkness to it, because it's funny, like whenever you sit, I can recite those characteristics because they're innate
Yeah.
to me. And I'm so comfortable to say them and know them as my personal experience. But to hear them recited back to me, it sounds like, wow, she's a lot. She is intense. I might have to have a drink if I sit next to her. Wow.
Yeah, at the last board meeting for Joy and Children, I shared a little bit that I won't get into here, but I definitely see that volunteers, board members and all that, they see this well-oiled machine and everything, like all of these moving parts, and it seems overwhelming and amazing. And like, how do you guys do it? And because I have those qualities that you and I are talking about, right? Very task-oriented and details and specific. But yeah, I can tell the way some people look at me. A lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
Some of them look in awe, if I want to say that. But others, they don't want to be directed. They don't want that task-oriented person checking in on them, wanting to know if they did their tasks or not. Again, the dark shadow side of what can be really light. And so, I would say that these abilities, these mental skills work really well to pull something together like a big event, but it's challenging for different personalities and how they handle that. And
I identify with that immensely, because it's tough to be a strong personality and have opinions and I don't want to sound ugly to say this, but I'm most of the time accurate.
Right.
And that's hard for people to receive sometimes. And I don't like that about myself, but it's
but Deleah, that one of the things that I've learned about myself for having that same aspect is, first of all, I don't open my mouth and say it unless I'm pretty confident that it's right. And that's a big part of, I was right, because I don't say it. I just literally, it's probably that perfectionistic thing. Like, I will not say it unless I have a lot of confidence behind it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always right. And I know that. And my fiance loves to point that out. And he probably loves it because I am right so many of the times, I mean, and I'm not looking to sound arrogant. I think it's just part of these elements of this kind of brain, or this kind of mental self, also, wanting to be educated, striving to learn, always growing, always, being a seeker of knowledge. If you're the type of person that's always putting info in there, then it's highly likely you've got some factoids to share, versus someone who's okay with where they're at and not necessarily a learner or a seeker of knowledge or wanting wisdom and insight and all that, So I think there's a lot of things that come together that, in that equation that brings it out the way that it does. So you talked about your husband, and what are your thoughts around the importance of having a good support system in your life, especially with all the things that you've accomplished and achieved and how hardworking you are? What would life be like if you didn't have a support system?
Oh, dreary. Downright dreary, sad and lonely. It would be a quiet house, because I likely wouldn't have dogs. I likely would never turn on the television. He stabilizes me.
Yeah.
It brings me to neutral. I'm revved up. He's here. It's like the most homeostasis that could be achieved. He keeps me grounded. Honestly, it really helps with that for me. And I, help him to do the neurotic, crazy things that he doesn't feel up to doing. It's a really good balance, but, my family is the same. I get that from them too. And, it's crazy going into adulthood with such a plan. Like, I knew forever, what I wanted it to look like. And you never anticipate the challenges or the roadblocks or the setbacks or, the growth opportunities that are going to be presented your way, but it makes you all the stronger for it.
Yeah.
Miraculously.
And you've been together how long now?
We have been, so we just celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary, and we have been
Congratulations.
next year. Thank you. Next year will be our 20th year together.
Gotcha.
So I'm
So
41. So to be a 21-year-old person in life with your, the start of your career and the love of your life, like I almost feel like the vintage ladies from 1938 living in this house. Like I'm doing that,
yeah.
like married young, and I'm going to have an apron on pretty soon, waving to the neighbors from the porch, I'm sure.
Well, you're very fortunate. Not to say that one path is better than another, because we all have different, paths and things to learn along the way. I'm 53, and I just found my soulmate in the last 4 years.
That's
And
amazing.
And I can say that 4 years in, like we're not in the honeymoon stage. It's
Yeah.
amazing when you have a true companion and a true supportive person who gets you, which is something that I would say I'd never really experienced either. Like someone who totally gets you and all your quirks and your perfectionistic ways and the shadows of those things and can smile, and like,
Right.
and support it. And, and even, help me. You need to put your phone away, Dawn. Like you're working all the time. Like you need to stop, or come out, let's go fishing, and if I'm out there fishing with him, I'm not into it as much as he is, but I enjoy being out on a boat and I love being in nature. He'll be like, you're on your phone. Oh,
yeah,
shit, you're right. Thanks, honey. Era.
And that's, I think that like in this existence, like I feel personally, I know everyone has their own view on things, but like my path is with him and we keep each other in this nice little comfort zone, and separate, we would be completely in other headspaces. And like, I'd be up here spinning out and he'd be up down here spinning out. And it's just like we neutralize. So I think it's like when you find someone that you can be that comfortable with, that adores you for every characteristic, good or bad, light or dark. And then you can continue to go through life experience and change and growth and evolve together. It just makes for such a tight unity. It's like there's no busting this up, and then just to know that you're coming home to that every day is such a blessing.
It really is.
So grateful for it. But it's work. It takes energy. You have to fight for it. And I'm, like we're working hard, it's like the most rewarding thing. It's like nothing, like for anything in life that I'm, speaking on, it's just everything takes effort and energy, and you just need to be headstrong and do your thing.
Right.
Or, to get there, to get to that point. And I think again, it's just that continuing to face adversity, face the challenge, knowing you're going to come out on the other side bigger, better, stronger for it, makes it seem like it's not so tough.
Well, and especially if you add into that cake recipe, this decision you made around 21 years old that you're going to have what you want and you're going to enjoy your life. A big problem that a lot of humans have with the use of their mind is they focus on the negatives in their partner, because we aren't perfect, right? Or
absolutely not.
They're just trying to change that person so much that they're absolutely miserable because they're like obsessed with trying to make this person more of who they want them to be, instead of having that level of acceptance and appreciation and gratitude for, what is good there,
what they bring. And I think of that, with anybody that I deal with, like, some people say, you have so many friends. Why? And I was like, because I thoroughly like people and I accept them for who they are. And I think that resonates with them and they like sticking around. I'm not quick to cut anybody off. I don't burn bridges. And I generally, truly, authentically feel like I make a friend everywhere I go. And maybe I use the term, I don't wildly. Some people might say, oh, I have 2 friends. They're like the best friends. But I feel like that about like somebody I might make a connection with over a matter of hours. Like I'll refer to that person as my friend. And if they're going through something, I'm going to feel something about it. I'm going to care. And, and as time rocks on and we're still in each other's, spinning past each other through town and, in our engagements, it's like further enriching and adding up time that I continue to have an affinity for the humans in my space.
You reminded me of something.
Oh, good.
So I bought a house in March. So I was selling my house, which I had a realtor there, and then I had a realtor here because we're in St. Mary's, Georgia now. And so I had a Georgia realtor. And during the potential purchasing process, showing us homes and talking and, oh, I have another one you might be interested in, and going and looking and all the time in between, I'm like getting to know this lady, and she's sending me pictures of her daughter going to dance class, and sorry, I'll get right back to you. I'm in a school conference. It's like details that were specific. And I'm thinking that I'm making a friend, right?
Yeah.
But once the house was purchased, I never heard from her again. And
Oh, no.
but I just kind of watched it because this has happened in other situations too. I'm trying to think of another one where it was like maybe a practitioner, like somebody that I saw all the time, and getting to know this person. And we had our house painted, and it was a man and his wife that would come and do it. And they were here like 2 months. Yeah. I'm getting to know them. I'm telling Joe, I'm like, we could be friends. Like, we should have them over for dinner. As soon as he was done, we didn't hear from him again. I was like, I have a thing with thinking I'm making friends when I might not be.
I think it says a lot about your character, though, that you're warm and inclusive and people feel drawn and you connect easily. That I feel like is a good thing. But I also think that it's situational. Like, you can have family that you're super, super close to, but it's like, or friends even, think people that are like solid, like constants in your life, but in the day to day, the constant, like, we're routine driven creatures. And I think if you're just chronically exposed to the same individuals for a period of time, those relationships are where you put your energy, because it's just like the day to day, the mundane is like you're talking to these people with, and it's, ultimately those family members and friends are still there, but it's like, it's easy to just, I don't know, connect with where your time is being spent.
It's so interesting because as I get older, especially because I do work a lot, I'm very deliberate about spending time with people that I care about. And I observe which ones make the time and which ones don't. And that's a thing for me. It's like, and I'm saying that knowing, everybody's busy in all different ways, all different kinds. And some people get overwhelmed more than others. There's all these different things. But there are certain ones that will make the time as well. And there's certain ones that just consistently don't. So I'm curious, because you had said that you're one of those people that, you have a lot of friends and that you don't cut people off. Have you ever cut somebody off?
Very, very select few.
Yeah. So you have, though.
Yeah. The pool is very, very small. Yeah. Very small.
Yeah.
But again, not like for the sake of saying like creating a drama or making waves. Absolutely not that. Just making the choice where I'm going to invest my energy.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've overtly had the experience of having a verbal conversation with someone and saying, this is no longer going to work. We're not doing this. We're moving on from this. I can't say that I've ever had to do that, but I've definitely very, very finite amount of times just made the decision to say, I have experienced this enough, and I'm no longer going to invest time or energy in this environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very small.
Yeah.
Very small.
And how was that easy for you once you made the decision, or did you mull it over for a long time after and wonder if you did the right thing and all that?
Yes and no, both. Some are slower to arrive. Like, some decisions are slower to arrive because you hope and you're, invest in that positive mindset where I'm going to say, hey, they give the benefit of the doubt. But when behaviors are repetitive and it's just like, this is pretty solid foundation of this individual or environment. And not even necessarily one individual. It could just be like an environment or an existence or an activity, something that's not serving for the benefit.
Right.
If it's more of a drawing of my energy, then I might not, stay there. Because I'm not looking to be drained, like I want to, for as much as I get therapeutics out of giving, I don't want to feel taken from either.
Yes.
So give a lot. I don't want to be have some taken too without some I like mutually exclusive relationships.
Reciprocal
Relationships. This feels like that. My teacher was right. I was going to use it.
Right. Yeah. So if there isn't this feeling of reciprocating, which is kind of what I was saying, if I'm constantly the one reaching out or giving or doing or whatever, especially for someone who is a caregiver, caretaker, we want to help, we want to do. And I've found that I do give the benefit of the doubt much longer than I believe is probably healthy. And I have people that are in my inner circle that was a long time coming, Dawn.
Yeah.
You gave them 5,000 chances, And I'm learning to hopefully see that, a little bit sooner. But what I've observed in literally my body, like when you think in a more positive way, when you deliberately are doing things that you love, when you have love in your life, like when you have all these good feeling things, there's quite literally a good feeling in your body. And it reminds me of that old story of the thorn in the little lion's foot or whatever. It's like when you stop the cruddy thinking and you're very deliberate about like all I just said, life is good. You experience joy and love and this high energy and these great feelings. And it can be like a splinter when a person's like consistently negative or lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, aggressive, angry. There's these things. And what I've seen and feel is that when I'm around that, I go through a period of time of working on accepting that person for who they are. But if it's consistently like, okay, they keep showing me who they are, and it's repeatedly lying, stealing, manipulating, angry, like whatever it is, then I have to get away from it because it will bring me down. I'd like to think I'm strong enough to stay in joy and peace and love and happiness no matter what's happening around me. And that's something I'm striving towards, but I can tell you I'm not there yet.
Yeah. It all takes work, honestly. I feel the same. Like there are things that I work on with personally, and a lot of it is just don't be so neurotic. Don't have these high expectations. Chill the heck out.
Yeah.
Rest. Take a break. That's okay. And honestly, like going through the human condition, we're all dealing with some really wild stuff. Wild. And my family's going through it. And it's like, I'll have, girlfriend check in on me and say, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. I just have to keep telling myself that because everybody's going through something. And it's all hard. It's all mind blowing, but we can't live there, but at the same time, it's like, to what point are we in a state of avoidance? I'm navigating currently managing, get through the day to day without dwelling, because I can dwell and I can waste energy on the unknowns. I can exhaust myself there.
Yeah.
Creating the what ifs and, how am I going to manage that? Hey, how about you just roll with the punches and see? So that's where I'm living right now, but it could be a factor of avoidance. So I'm trying to navigate that. That's my new experience this year, I think, is mostly I feel and experience and dig in hard, but like I don't really have time for it or the emotional space to continue functioning if I live there. So that's something, experience the day-to-day versus avoidance is where that's my teeter-totter right now. And I keep telling myself, like, when that moment comes, we will deal. Until then, we're going to just keep on trucking.
But that's the healthiest way to be.
Okay.
Because whatever that thing isn't here yet and may never arrive.
Right. Exactly.
Worry is actually the misuse of your imagination.
Yeah.
So the imagination can be used very constructively. Somebody understands that. That's visualizing things and visualizing and thinking about what they'd like to experience. You can do that deliberately, and that's like goal setting. But if you misuse it, then you're worrying instead because you're seeing negative things. You're projecting and creating these stories around things that aren't even real. So the best thing to do is come back into real life. Come back.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah. So my situational avoidance is actually a protective mechanism to maintain my positivity.
There you go. I love it. That was a good synopsis. Well, good. Well, I could probably talk to you for hours, and I know that your battery is getting low. So what would be one piece of advice or wisdom that you would pass on? Because you have excelled in many different areas of your life and continue to, and will continue to grow and have faced challenges along the way, so what would be a little advice you'd pass
A
on
little
to somebody?
tidbit that I would share. Maintain perpetual optimism despite adversity.
Lovely.
Continue to push forward in the face of challenge. And in no time, you will be looking back and say, wow, I did those things and I'm here again.
I love it. At the beginning of a new lesson or a new set of knowledge. Yeah.
Because if I had have just decided years and years ago, 20 years ago, oh, well, I didn't get my turn. I didn't get picked. I didn't get the thing I wanted. This is my lot. I would have missed all these opportunities. I would have failed in the bad way at a given chance to grow. I would have not had the confidence or the wisdom to say, hey, I've been here. I've fought. I did it. It was hard, but I got through it. And now I'm past it and I'm better for it. So I think it goes back to that mindset. And my mindset is driven by hydration, sleep, play, stimulation, education, and fun. I've got to stay active. I've got to eat right. I've, been juggling so many things, so many balls in the air. It's like fitness has been something I've had to kind of shirk. So I'm not getting a daily hour in, which is also neurotic for many people. But I'm still doing dog walks. I'm still getting on the Peloton. I'm still going to yoga. I'm still going to body combat. I might have to miss some things sometimes, and that's okay. But I think that personal wellness within is vital to a great place for a mindset to develop. If you're not physically well, if you're not moving your body, not getting sunshine, not getting water, not proper nutrition, not getting sleep, you can't function effectively. So those are the little brick pavers that build the foundation for this mindset.
Beautiful. Great wisdom. I love it. Good job.
It's been fun.
Yeah. I want to tell listeners that they can get some free goodies at dawngrant.com/free. And that could be a free golf cart at the Shotgun Club or access to my Mind Mastered app or even my online courses. So check that out. And Deleah, so what's some contact info? Because you're an expert at what you do and people are going to want to come see you.
So Deleah Pickler, I work at Ponte Vedra Plastic Surgery on the south end of Amelia Island, here local. You can find me on Instagram at PVPS Deleah, Deleah. I'm also on Facebook as Deleah Pickler. I'm happy to connect and give back and find you guys at the gym, yoga, wherever, social events. You find me at Joy of the Children, #1. I want you to be volunteering at Christmas time, giving back to our local youth in need, helping us out. So kind of all over the place. Find me.
Perfect.
Connect.
Perfect. I'm gonna friend you if I haven't already.
You have. Yeah. We're friends.
Okay. And folks can follow me on any of the social medias as well. Deleah, thank you very, very much. And I'm very impressed. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments and plenty more to come, no doubt about it. And I'm really happy to have you on the Joy of the Children board as well. And thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, girl.
All right. Talk soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Mastered Secrets of Excellence with Dawn Grant. Whether you're an elite athlete or pursuing success in your career or personal life, Dawn Grant's expertise and insights are here to guide you. Don't forget to visit dawngrant.com/free to grab your exclusive free resources. hypnosis audios, mental training tools, and even a golf cart at her club. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow, rate, and share this podcast. Stay connected with Dawn on all social media platforms for more inspiration, tips, and updates. Remember, mastering your mind is the key to unlocking your full potential. Until next time, keep pushing your limits and striving for excellence.